So this kind of question has come up so many times in Sync Academy that I had to make a video on it. And it's the topic of being a little bit afraid and anxious about asking a library that you're working with some really uncomfortable questions like, are you going to pay me consideration fees? Or, hey, in the contract, it didn't state what happens with sync fees. If you earn sync fees from your clients, do you split those with us? Are you keeping all of those? Et cetera, et cetera. There are tons and tons of questions, which if you don't know the answer to them, and the only way to find out is to directly ask them, there's a lot of fear and anxiety around that. And I totally get it because I felt a lot of that myself when I was working with libraries. Two reasons. One, you don't want to come across as greedy or that you are just trying to make money off of them, and you don't want to seem like ungrateful, right? And then two, you don't want to be seen as high maintenance. Like here comes Joe again. He's the one that's going to ask us 1,000 questions about everything. Like, you don't want to pigeonhole yourself as that guy that's second guessing everything and looking into everything closely, and just becoming kind of a nitpicker on the library's roster, right? So I want to tell you in this video, or teach you a way to ask any question you want to. And not only that, like, encourage you that you should ask these questions. Like, you definitely need to ask and get clarification on anything that you don't know, that you don't have 100% certainty on. But I want to teach you how to do that in a way where it will guarantee not be seen as greedy or high maintenance at all. The key to all this stuff, it's all about how you ask questions. You can ask literally any question you want to a library. You can ask them almost pretty much everything. Doesn't guarantee they're going to tell you everything. Of course, if it has anything to do with your licensing agreement and business with them, they should be answering that. But you can ask almost anybody anything as long as you do it the right way. Okay, so I'm going to teach you a real easy phrase that you can learn and use to basically ask about anything going on with the library at any time. And they're not going to see you as greedy. They're not going to see you as a high maintenance producer. And they should, if they are reputable, ethical people, they should respond to your email and give you your information, okay? But before I do that, I want to definitely just say you should be asking these tough questions. You should get the answers to your questions. Nobody else is going to be your advocate for you in this business as much as you are. You don't have a manager, you don't have a lawyer, you don't have a team of professionals looking over your contracts, sifting through them all, and then auditing the books of the library and figuring out and making sure. You don't have any of those resources, right? Let's just be real. What do you have? You got yourself, right? You got yourself. You can ask questions, you can get clarity, you can build some trust, and you can have conversations with the people that you work with. That's what you have. So, because I always get these questions in Sync Academy, and I basically am kind of hearing from most of them, I want to get the answer to this question, but I don't want to ask this question. I don't want to, I'm afraid of the consequences of asking this question. And I want to basically just say, I get it, but you should be getting this information. You should be asking directly, because a lot of the questions that I get are sort of, well, the library said this, but the contract said that. What do you guys think? And I always answer, it doesn't really matter what we think here at all. Like, our opinions are just our opinions. And yeah, they might sound like this or that to me, but who cares? Because I'm not that library. So they might have meant something completely different by that contract statement that they had, or by that email comment that they made to you. I have no idea. It would be very foolish of all of us to just start guessing and then telling you, yeah, this is what they meant. Go ahead and move forward and just assume that that's what they meant. That's going to set you up for maybe a huge disappointment down the road when you realize, no, that's not at all what they meant, right? So rather than asking me or asking your other kind of maybe fellow sync license producers, what do you think this means? Go right to the source. Go right to the library, okay? So let's say one of the big questions I get a lot from producers is, well, I've signed with this library. They put me under contract, or they're about to, but I want to know if they're going to give me consideration fees. Consideration fees are those upfront fees the library pays a sync licensing producer. And they haven't mentioned it yet, and I haven't seen it in the contract, or I've looked in the contract and it's not there, but I really want to make sure that I just double check, because you never know, right? If you just never ask, you'll never know if it's something that could be on the table for you. And so, of course, the worst way that you could possibly ask for that is to say, hey, do you guys, well, it's not the worst way, but it could something to the effect of, do you guys offer consideration fees? I don't think that's even that bad, but for some people, they might be uncomfortable asking directly, like, are you guys going to pay me for my music? I think that's just a business question. I think you could ask in that way. It's not really necessary. I shouldn't have said it's the worst way, but it's just a much more direct way. But let me just teach you this phrase, I guess, so that you can use this in any question you want to. All you got to say is, hey, I want to make sure that I'm clear on your policy on blank. Okay. Hey, I want to make sure I'm clear on your policy on consideration fees, right? What is your library's policy on offering consideration fees? That's it. So you're not asking for money. You're not saying you better give me some of those consideration fees or anything like that. And it's basically just asking for clarification on their own policies, okay? So it is a way to get any information you need out of a library without it feeling like you're being high maintenance or like you're asking for something or you're being you feel like you're being too high maintenance or whatever like that, right? So if you just use that phrase, I'm just curious, what is your policy on sync fees? I'm just curious, what is your policy on rider shares? Who keeps all the rider shares? Does that go to me? Does it get split with the company? What is your company's policy on X? Okay. So you could ask any question you want and get the answer when you phrase it that way. Okay. So there are obviously different ways you can go about it. And I don't think that being direct is a terrible thing. Obviously, being polite about it and just asking in a polite way is always going to get you further than being demanding or saying like I think it's fair when writers earn or producers earn consideration fees. So I would expect that you guys are going to offer them as well, right? Like you're kind of assuming a lot of things in that, and you're putting your opinions and your philosophy kind of out there, and it's got a little bit of an entitlement feeling to it. So obviously there are ways to go about this where you don't put all that kind of stuff out there for them, but please do ask questions, please, and always go to your library. And this goes for all of you guys that are in Sync Academy, and you do constantly, some of you guys are guilty of this, posting questions to the community that we cannot answer, that we have no idea. One of my favorite comments to make on a lot of you guys' posts is, that's a great question, ... for your library. Because I'm not going to take a guess and lead you down the wrong path, and I'm not going to mind read them, and I'm not going to, pretend like I know what your library wants or what their priorities are, okay? So always go first directly to your library when you have confusion, you're not really sure. And hopefully you can use this little phrase to get yourself through some of those key points. One thing that I would definitely say is that if there are multiple things that you're not sure about, try to put all of those into one email, okay? I think it's better to try to get all of your questions answered when you start working with the library, rather than kind of giving them Chinese water torture every couple of weeks, asking them a new question and a new question and a new question and a new question as they come to you. So if it takes you a month or so to kind of gather all of am I really sure what I should be asking, or maybe I don't really know, try to get all those questions kind of gathered up and then send them one email. That way you're sort of being considerate of their time. So when they do answer your email, they can kind of go through them and help out. And by the way, this actually is what I really prefer as well. I get some, students or just producers that email me, and they'll send me 5 different emails in one day. And it's like, hey, Jesse, I've just found your videos. I love them. Here's my one question. And then 2 hours later, they send me another one and a third one. And so I look at my email later, I'm like, so I got to go through 5 different emails to answer this guy's questions. And it's like, couldn't you just wait till the end of the day to put them all in? I'll be happy to answer. Like, I love answering questions. I'm happy to help. But it's like this constant just, throwing stuff in my way. It's just annoying. It's just a little bit annoying. It would be better if you could just kind of compile it all and put it all into one email, send it off to your library, let them answer those questions, and get back to you. And of course, with all of this, if you ask in a polite way and you use this really cool phrase to do it, and they don't get back to you, or they give you attitude about that and call you high maintenance and tell you shouldn't be asking those questions, or relax or chill out, or if you get any sort of weird reaction from anybody in this business after asking these very common sense questions, run for your life. Okay, big red flags. I've heard of many sync scams out there, and I made some videos on my YouTube channel about it, where producers are not only paying people to shop their music, which you shouldn't be doing, but they email these people and say, hey, you took my money. What's going on with my music? Is it out there? Has it been accepted? Where has it been accepted? And these people, whoever they are threatening the producer and saying, if you ask me any more questions, I'm going to blacklist you out of the industry and don't ever ask me any more questions. That's when you know you've been robbed, okay? That's when you know you're never seeing your money again, and those tracks are not ending up anywhere productive for yourself. So unfortunately, you got screwed with that kind of situation. So if you're working with a library and they give you any sort of weird response like that, any weird communication, run for your life, and it's just not going to be a good deal. But I would say 99% of them out there, the ones that, definitely the ones that I've recommended, the ones that I know that are legit, they're going to be responsive. They're going to answer your questions. They're going to let you know, what you need to know. And most of the time with libraries, they have a lot of these questions answered for you in their contracts or maybe in a FAQ kind of one sheet or a part on their website where they can kind of answer these questions. But if they don't, this is what this phrase and what, just kind of being polite and asking about this information can really, how it can really do well for you. So anyways, guys, hope this helps. Please use this and please keep asking your libraries those really important questions because guess what? Nobody else is going to do it for you.